Hello,
Thanks.
everyone, and welcome to Blaze and Spin's battle Blaze and Spin's BattleBots What If podcast. Today, I am joined with Clone, Spin, Silver, and Zaza, and we are doing a continuation of the series we did last week. Say hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi,
Good
everyone.
evening.
Hi.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, again, same with last week. This was not my idea. This was Silver's idea. So Silver, why don't you take this away?
Thanks again, Blaze. Thanks for having me on again. So yeah, as Blaze said, this is a continuation of the episode that we did last week, where we've been talking about a potential World Championship 8 roster. Uh, Last time we talked about the 10 bots that were going to cut from the original 50 bot World Championship 7 roster. As a refresher, those cut bots are Horizon, Ominous, Overhaul, Starchild, Gruff, Captain Shredderator, Emulsifier, Triton, Glitch, and Fusion.
We still should have cut
got
hijinks.
Hijinks got in by the absolute skin of its teeth after a very long debate period. But this time we're going to be talking about the bots that we would like to add to the roster. So to get things started, we've got 4 unanimous bots that each of us think deserves a slot in World Championship 8, in this theoretical World Championship 8. So yeah, Clone, if you would like to weigh and talk about our first unanimous bot.
Thanks, Silver. I think this is probably of all the new next gen new breed robots that have yet to be on BattleBots. This one is like very much widely considered the best of the new breed of like the next gen robots. This was the most obvious unanimous one. I think anybody who's in battle, who's a fan of robot combat beyond the surface level knows this. This is Manta from Arizona. This robot has put up a ton of results since the World Championship 7. Everything from Robo Games twice. I believe it's been in face-offs. It's gonna be in the World Championship 8 qualifier, which as the time of this recording has not been publicly aired. This robot's very, very, very hyped. It is incredible. Like in Robo Games, it kicked the shit out of things like Original Sin, uh, Black Dragon, Jackpot. It's a house. I think this robot is very, very strong and is top 8 guaranteed for World Championship 8.
All right. Yeah, a lot of hype going into this bot. So Zasa, if you want to take it away here and talk about our goat magnitude.
Well, yeah, thank you for spoiling it. No, Magnitude is a robot that has very much endeared itself with the scene. I think I remember when it was first being revealed, and people saw it and started comparing it to Manta very directly and saying like, "Oh boy, it's another egg beater robot. What a surprise!" We were starting to get a lot of those coming out of the woodworks, around 2023 or so, and people were kind of iffy on it. And then it started actually fighting robots, and a lot of people came around to it because well, for starters, it's a very good robot, and that tends to win people over. Uh, but it's not your average, four-wheel drive vertical spinner where it's all about power. It's a very durable robot. It can really go the distance. Its first 2 matches in its career were against Hypershock, former winner of the Most Destructive Robot Award, extremely well driven, extremely powerful, and both matches, it basically, went the distance. It was counted out in the final 10 seconds of each of those matches,
Mhm.
and one of them was because it got beached on its own wedgelet. Uh, then it came to Robo Games. It had a terrific fight with Manta, went the distance there. It's a very tough robot. It's a very good robot. Uh, it's gone to face-offs a couple times. Presumably, we'll be seeing it at the upcoming qualifiers because I know they're an active team and they've been kind of teasing some stuff lately. So it's an extremely good robot. It's a versatile robot. It's an interesting design. I don't know if they still have that twisted drum spinner that they were using early on. It's a really cool robot, and I'm hoping to see it come World Championship 8. Chad New is a great guy.
Yeah, Magnitude's got a lot of hype going on into next season potentially. Our next bot that we're gonna talk about here is Orbitron. This right here is probably my favorite bot to come out of this post World Championship 7 Proving Grounds era, essentially. It was in that kind of like first batch of new bots when the Proving Grounds event started. Proving Grounds started in May of 2023, and just a couple months later, we see August where we have Roundhouse versus Orbitron. And despite going 0-2, it put on a really good show. This is a cool dual vert design that we just haven't seen in a long time. We haven't really seen it since Counter Revolution way back in 2015, and at that point it was kind of a joke by getting its guts absolutely spilled by Tombstone. But now we see Orbitron with this kind of AI tracking where it can just kind of go on autopilot and it can orbit opponents, hence the name, or it can just go in straight for the kill. As of recording this, we haven't really seen that feature used a whole lot, but it's still something that is interesting about it and kind of sets it apart from the rest of the cast. Since its first Proving Grounds appearance, though, it's been doing pretty well. It had a couple more Proving Ground showings, like it kicked the crap out of Disarray a couple times. And then we saw in the first publicly released Face-Offs group, it went 2-1. And I'm gonna go on a copium bit here and
Wait.
say that it should have been 3-0.
It was 1-2.
Yeah, I was gonna say it only went 1 and 2. What are you talking
It lost to
about?
Hypershock.
Lost
It,
Hypershock.
it lost to Hypershock and Tombstone.
Yep.
You could have said it could have been
Yeah.
2-1, but you
It
chose
could've
it
been
wrong.
It could have been 2-1. Yeah, my fault.
Liar.
Either way,
Silver
Orbitron is
lion?
my go,
Can't believe that.
and a couple years ago now, Zasa got a video of the Orbitron team wishing me a happy birthday, which gives me more love towards them. So
It's definitely
yeah,
a unique
that's Orbitron.
Those
robot.
are bias.
Absolutely,
can't
yeah.
believe it.
There's a reason that it was unanimous, and this is an entrant that should have a lot of hype going into it. All right. Let me make sure I got the order right here. Yeah, Blaze. If you want to talk about our
All right.
next and final unanimous spot.
The
When
big
when you
bad.
think of BattleBots, there's one robot that comes to mind. It's Tombstone. Like
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
like there's like I cannot think like there is not BattleBots without Ray Billings just at least being there nowadays. Because he was there. Like Tombstone wasn't there, but he was there. And I don't think I really need to explain why we're putting Tombstone in, because it's Tombstone. I really don't have like any other explanation other than it's Tombstone.
It doesn't
it's,
feel like
you know,
BattleBots without
king.
Tombstone.
Exactly. I don't think there's any more I need to say other than yeah, it's fucking Tombstone.
All
Alright,
right.
onto Spin.
Okay. I'm gonna start with what, like, maybe not the most obvious pick, but it's a pick that I I really love. I'm gonna say Calypso. For me, it would be between them and Roundhouse. They're both like really similar archetypes, being like more like a wide set undercutter. But Calypso is just a tad more impressive. I mean, in the face-offs, they did just beat them, like just flat out. But also, just like I think in terms of theming, I think the crab theme is a bit more fun than like sort of the sleek gym vibe, I guess. And yeah, like the theme, and also like I trust. I think there's just a lot more trust with Team Horizon because of just how Deadlift was always a disappointment, and how Horizon did eventually get working by the end of their proving grounds, and while we're probably not going to see Horizon again, just because it's so expensive, I think Calypso as a replacement to them is a great pick, honestly, and it is rather entertaining, even if they didn't really get to do much in their face-offs group. So Calypso.
Calypso, that vote was in favor of it 3-2.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Spin,
You
Blaze,
guys are
and
lame.
we all had Calypso on our rosters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I think
love
the
Crown.
thing that shot this in the foot is that we could only have 10. I feel like if we had more than
I
10, like
know.
12 or 14, Calypso would show up a lot more.
Yeah, we'll get to your
Yeah.
crazy picks here
If only,
later.
if only we didn't hunt
Yeah.
hijinks for Calypso. You know, we're like,
So,
Yep.
all right,
Ah.
back to the top of the cycle here. Then, all right, Clone, what you
Okay.
got?
Which nonsense bot do I? Let's actually start with a good one. This is a robot that outside of BattleBots, like in Russia specifically and China, this robot is insanely powerful and has done a lot of things. And when I set out to make this World Championship 8, I said to myself, okay, it's called World Championship, and it's just robots mainly from like you got Endgame and then a bunch of Americans and a few British, right? So I'm like, what if we added
Minotaur?
yeah, Minotaur?
yeah,
Minotaur.
like it was Brazil,
Minotaur
like
is
Malaysia,
original.
Canada.
Yeah.
As our
Yeah,
resident Robo Games expert, you
Yeah.
should know better.
I know. I should have said Minotaur. Hold on. There needs to be more like because there's robots from all over the world, China, Russia, India. They have really good robots, and I think they should all get a. I try to give each of them a spot in World Championship 8. So to represent China, I chose one of the best robots out of China, probably the best, Iron Scrap.
Ooh.
This is a very, very good robot. It has kind of a Minotaur thing going on, which that'd be why if it ever did apply, it wouldn't get picked because it's too much of a Minotaur clone. But this robot's really good, like really good. It's really fast. It's really take a lot of punishment. This is a very powerful robot, and I feel like it really needs to show the general populace and not just hyper robot nerds what this thing can do. It's very good, and I'm a big fan of Iron Scrap.
Well, unfortunately, Clone, you're the only one that had Iron Scrap on your roster.
I had a feeling.
Well, to be fair, it's just international slots. You know, it's really only
Yeah.
space for
It's not
Orbitron
that-
and one other guy.
Yeah, it's just that I thought about Iron Scrap. I just picked a different Chinese robot,
Well, at least, yeah, it
which I'll
Greedy
probably
snake.
I'll talk about
Yeah.
about when it comes around to me.
yeah
So
it definitely deserves to be thought about and considered as a robot that will actually do really well in World Championship 8 compared to some of the other like a lot of the British ones or some of the other Chinese robots are
Yeah.
they're just old. But Iron
Yeah.
Scrap is still like viable.
For sure.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
All right, Zasta, you're up.
Yeah, I really wanted to find room for Iron Scrap, but unfortunately we were quite limited on how many international robots we could bring into this.
Goes over.
Like Blaze had mentioned, the slot that I chose for this ultimately went to a different Chinese robot, and that would
Mm.
be my boy Deep Sea Shark.
That's another
who
really good one.
Who I've been a real big fan of for a long time now,
That's a very good one
and
to
who
shout
I
out
was
to.
extremely happy to see come back when they started doing Bitva Robotov a couple of years ago now, and they've been very successful. And just recently here, they won the Games of the Future over in Abu Dhabi. They beat Cobalt. They beat Switchback. It was a really good run, and I think I think that they could do very well here at BattleBots. Chloe mentioned the issue with Iron Scrap possibly being rejected as too much of a Minotaur clone. I think Deep Sea Shark kind of avoids that issue. Like, yes, it is a four-wheel drive Bert, not the most unique robot ever, but it does have a unique enough profile where like it kind of looks a little like Mad Catter, but
Uh-huh.
like only if you're really looking for it. It's
Yeah.
a unique enough and I think that I think that they're a robot that I have wanted to see for a long time, and now that they're really now that they've just won a big international title against a few different BattleBots competitors, I think that really puts them ahead as one of the first robots I would pick.
Yes, I
Nice.
very much agree with you. This robot, Deep Sea Shark, is really, really good, and it's another great representation out of China to be at a world tournament. Very good robot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Alright.
can't believe, man,
Well, you-
Zaza, I can't believe the robot I was going to talk about, SMH.
I got really nervous when Clone started saying like, so my first
Yeah.
representative is one from China. I was like, oh shit, you're talking about mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright. So my next pick is going to be a bot that I have deeply missed, and it had kind of a replacement bot that was just rather disappointing, and so it makes me miss that prior bot more, and that is Deep Six.
Yes.
Oh man,
I
after
miss
my own
Deep
heart.
Six, man. I miss Deep Six, dude. I mean, this is a bot that had a very silly rookie season.
Yes.
It destroyed the test box. It
Yes.
somehow lost a Rumble to Kingpin, but then it also absolutely shredded Nelly the Ellie bot. And what
Yes.
was it, that fight was still a double knockout, right? Is that the one where Deep
Uh-huh.
Six fell on its face? Yeah. Uh, and then COVID happened, so it didn't make it out to 2020, but it came back in 2021. I was so happy to see it back. I'm just a big fan of like unforgivably large weapons. Like it's funny, it's cool, it
Mhm.
makes for absolutely spectacle moments. Um,
There's a reason Nightmare was so hype in the old days because it was so ridiculously
absolutely.
huge. It's like the next
Yeah,
gen Nightmare,
yeah.
except not as
Uh,
successful as Nightmare was back then.
yeah. I was gonna mention like Deep Six. Its regular season 2021 was a bit of a bummer. Crazy knockout against Pain Train, just absolutely
Mhm.
smoking that Pain Train pack. Um,
It was satisfying to watch that.
it was very satisfying. But then kind of had a bummer loss to Smee with the whole kill slot beach. That was an absolute tragedy. Um,
Travesty?
Spoilers.
I was about to say,
Spoilers.
I was about to say, I think someone's gonna talk about that bot later. So, uh,
Oh,
and then I seriously do not appreciate BattleBots for giving Deep Six Minotaur as its third and final fight. I think there were better opponents that either of those bots could have been given. But yeah, unfortunately Deep Six missed the championship tournament. However, this did allow for Deep Six to enter the after season champions event, and it had an awesome run. I mean, it had a crazy fight against Huge, which is somehow Deep Six's only fight to make it the distance. But I'm very glad it did because that was a really fun fight. And then you had the Shatter fight where Shatter got absolutely owned. We love the moment with Deep Six literally juggling Shatter. Uh, it was just a really fun fight. Like that is my and probably most people's favorite Deep Six fight. Uh, and then you had the Ribot fight, which I mean, all the congrats to Deep Six for even making as far as the little bracket finals before the final boss fight. Uh, Unfortunately, it did go down to Ribot. Uh, and then in season 7, we had Triton be entered since BattleBots kind of wanted to steer away from something that was so incredibly dangerous.
Mhm.
But Triton just didn't give us results.
Yeah,
Very
it's
disappointing 2-2 in the regular season, missed the bracket, and then just didn't really do all that great in Cincinnati Slugfest. So I think Deep Six can come back in at least some capacity, maybe tone down a little bit to allow it to be more safe. But even if that has to happen, I will happily take that over Triton in a potential season 8. So
and it's
that's my
fantasy. We don't have
spiel.
to worry about face.
Well,
We don't. It's
I
fantasy.
will
We don't have
say,
to worry
Ooh.
about safety.
yeah.
True, safety is
The-
unreal.
I think another thing that I think doesn't get really mentioned Deep Six a lot is that it's not just that it's dangerous, it's big and scary, but it's also just like it harmed the arena and delayed a little too much. If I recall correctly, Like, it's not just
Yes.
that it breaks the arena, because like
Mhm.
you have bots like
Yeah.
Tombstone that does that, and it's just in nature of spinners. But it was just
It's
so powerful that it like dented the floor panels, and that
Yeah,
just takes so much more time out of production than just like holes or
Mhm.
oops, you hit the yellow railing and it's a little dented now.
yeah. I was gonna
it
say
Uh-huh.
really is.
I wanted to be clear on that. It wasn't specifically that it was too powerful. It's that the way that it damages the arena. Most other robots, when they're hitting the floor, they're cutting gashes and stuff that can be ground down or patched. You can weld stuff back into the floor. But when Deep Six is hitting the floor, it's bending the arena panels, and that's something you can't really fix without removing them
Yeah.
and swapping them out,
Yeah.
and that takes a while. And
I,
time is money, so I I I don't think it would be wrong to say that at least one or two fights were probably cut from season 6 because of Deep Six at
Ooh.
minimum. I don't know the stats on how long it took to fix some of the things it was doing, but I like that was one of the big problems with season 6 was that there wasn't enough time for fights, and I do think Deep Six probably contributed at least a little bit to that.
I also
Man.
want to point out, I've said before, it's a very comparable to Nightmare, because Nightmare was such a problem at the very tail end of BattleBots' Comedy Central era, because it kept breaking things. It punctured the arena, and it's partially to blame for the 250 mile per hour speed limit we have now. Deep Six, with technology getting so much more advanced, if you let Deep Six go rampant, it could do a lot more damage than Nightmare ever could.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a safety hazard, and
yeah. Yeah.
that's you're gonna get
Hazard.
sued.
So
Hazard. Hazard's a middleweight. Silly.
you're funny. Before I pass it on to Blaze, I will say that Deep Six had 2 votes in favor of it, including mine. Blaze was the other vote.
Yeah.
Funny how Spin said, "I'm a man after his own heart" when I don't see Deep Six on his roster. So,
Look, I like Deep Six. I'm just realistic.
Yeah.
I
Blaze, on to you, buddy.
All right. So it's really funny how basically every single robot that I put has been talked about. Because there's only two left. I'm
3.
gonna
You
talk
have 3
about.
left.
No, I only have two left. Right? Am I stupid?
You have 3 left.
Am I
Hang
You
on.
know how to count
Oh my
plays, right?
goodness. This. Oh my goodness. I thought this was. I thought this fight was unanimous. I thought it was. I thought it was. Okay. My fault. I thought this bot Terror Tops had been talked about already because
Yeah.
I thought it was unanimous, bro. I forgot it was not unanimous. So Terratops is, you know, Terratops is great. I love Terratops. I love Terror.
Yes.
Terratops. Terratops honestly should not have been going into World Championship 7. Uh, even from like looking at it from the moment like it gets like accepted, right? Uh, what was it? Sorry, I lost track of. Let me catch my train of thought. Okay. Uh, so Terratops comes in with a very unique design. The only other bot that even like looks similar to it is Big Deal,
Yep.
who does make sense to have been an alt during their past few seasons. But Terratops comes in, new design, looks unique. I under looks unique, and then it goes into an alt, right? Then it goes into its alt fights, and its first fight is Slammo. So it fights Craig Danby. Craig Danby, pretty cool. I like Craig Danby. Uh, Slammo just unfortunately wasn't the best in the previous season, or the season before because he didn't win the season before. um, but then then Terratops comes in and kicks its ass, and it's like, oh my goodness, Terratops is actually somewhat good, and then it fights, then it fought, I believe, Dragon King, if I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
which Dragon
Yeah.
King, uh, So, like, how good was Dragon King in what was it? This is Fighting Robots, or was it King of Bots? Which
It
show?
was in 2 seasons of King of Bots, so it was in both kind of.
Okay.
Dragon King was okay. Like it was never a world beater or anything. It was a little less good to them than Red Devil was to us, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So still not awful, but it's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
like
beat you
it
still have
wasn't
to
like
be a competent robot to beat it.
yeah,
So
exactly. Exactly. You have to be competent to beat it. Like fucking Doomba couldn't beat Dragon King. So
Well, that's Doomba.
I mean, you,
So-
you'd have to
In the
say
wheelchair
that.
couldn't beat Mike Tyson.
so then Terratops' only loss exiting BattleBots World Championship 7 was Rotator, who was, according to Ben from Terratops, like top 3 worst matchups for them because they didn't have an anti-horizontal configuration. Then they entered RoboGames, and look, I'm gonna be so for real. The only thing I remember about RoboGames is that their fork got breached.
Didn't they beat Original
But I
Sin?
know,
they did beat
I have no idea. I have
Yeah.
no idea. I just know
Yeah.
that it did really, really well in
Which
Robo
that's
Games.
nothing to like.
I think that's
Being
something
Original
to
Sin
scoff
is
at.
nothing to like sniff at. That's
Yeah, exactly. Terratops is
an
the goat.
accomplishment.
You know,
Terratops
original
is
Sin
the goat.
might be very overrated, but beating them is still a nice
It
feat
is
to have.
still, you know,
Yes.
it's still like it's still arguably the most successful heavyweight of all time, just based
It's in
off
the
how
top
many,
3.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's like
Yeah.
89 wins or something. It's insane.
Yeah, exactly. Even though it's like Robo Games judging and stuff, but it's still
Yeah.
like 89 wins is insane. I think that's all I can say for Terratops without going into spoilers. So
Yeah.
anyways,
So yeah,
on
Terratops
to
is 4-1.
who? Oh yeah,
Whoa.
Palmer put it.
Yeah,
me.
gee, I wonder.
It was me.
Gee.
I would have included it, but I've got some wackier ones. But it's a very good robot. It would be fun to have. Would be very realistic to have this thing in BattleBots again.
Mhm. Anyways, on to Spin Doctor, I believe.
I think I'm gonna go with. I think this is a really fun one. I don't know who else put it down, but I'm gonna say Hexadecimator. As just it is.
Ooh,
This
base?
is a really storied
Oh,
robot,
my
competing all the
beloved.
way back in Comedy Central, and then competing in Robo Games during the dark ages when there were no shows around. And it came back for the 2017 and 2018 Robo Games, and then they came back again for the 2023 Robo Games. And they were also, as of public knowledge, they are the only robot to beat Manta by KO
Yeah.
when they got flipped and then burst into flames. This is a robot that won't stay dead. You thought it was over when Comedy Central got canceled? No. Life Seed. You thought they got retired after they got a side panel removed by Conquering Clown? No. Rebuild. You thought it was over because it's been 11 years since they competed? Back at Robo Games 2017. And they didn't do that well for 17 or 18, but they come back and kind of kick ass. And yeah, we have videos of them testing new things. I think they're switching to a pneumatic flipper and
A
swerve
better pneumatic
drive.
flipper, and they have new
Yeah.
drives. They have
Yeah.
omnidirectional wheels now. It's pretty
Mhm.
incredible that they're still putting love into a robot that's older than most people who watch the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's older
Team
than
Whoop Ass refuses to stay dead, and I love them so much. And it isn't the
I do
most
like that.
dynamic design for a robot, but I think just for being such a storied robot from BattleBots' Comedy Central era, and that has the capacity to do at least pretty decently, we're gutting for them.
Yes, it's a very fun robot to have. I love the old robots, and I love the old stuff. Kexi D is a very lovable robot. I'm so happy that robots that old they're still trying to make them good, but let's face it, these robots are not competitive at all anymore. But at least they're trying to keep this name alive, and it's just damn fun to have something that you can say, I was here for so long. I've seen it evolve many times with HexCD. They're still kicking, guys. We're not going anywhere.
Mm,
Very fun to have robots like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry if I'm hogging the spotlight. There's just a lot to talk about.
You're good.
Yeah.
So Exodus, unfortunately, Spin, you were the only one to put on your roster, so that passes it on to Clone.
Okay. I have a lot of weird ones. Let's get with another. Let's get one that I think is probably the least weird of all the ones I picked. This is a robot, another robot that's been around just the same amount of time as Hexadecimator. This is Son of Waiachi. This is the namesake of Team Waiachi. This is the robot that basically they would not be where they are without this robot. And when you think horizontal spinners and BattleBots, usually you think Tombstone, Rotator, and then like Malice, and then Son of Waiachi is always in like the top 5. It's like horizontals. You will eventually just say Son of Waiachi. That's a big one and very iconic robot, and it's really really fucking cool. It's just such a fun robot, and I've loved it since I first saw it years and years ago. And Jesus Christ, I feel old. 10 years ago, 11, 12 years ago. It's daughter. I do love this robot, and it's fun to have these gigantic legacy explosive state like horizontal spinners are really cool. And this one, of all the horizontals, this is the one I would be the most hyped to see return. And it'd be fun to have Sal fight Hydra.
Ooh.
And the last thing I want to say is when I sought out for making this roster, I wanted there to be a rumble, like an exclusionary rumble with all 3 Waiachi brothers, a Fusion, Son of Waiachi, and Hydra all in the same arena together. I thought that would be a really fun little gimmick, and that's why I kept Fusion in my robots that I want to keep from the main World Championship 7.
Aren't there 4 Ewart brothers?
Yeah, there are, but I don't think the fourth one.
Clint doesn't exist.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, no.
What did he build?
Just
What did
put
Clint
Falcon
build?
in.
Maybe Clint should build
Falcon.
another robot then, maybe.
Falcon.
Yeah,
Oh my god,
where's
it'd be
Falcon?
even funnier to have Clint bring Falcon. Then you can get Dick.
No, he
like,
brings Falcon just for that fight.
yes, and nothing else. Then you have
Yeah,
Dick
exactly.
drive one of the mini
Because there's not
bots.
going to be anything else left of it to fight with.
Yes.
You could bring back Warrior Dragon if you really want to.
It would just suffer
Get
the
Terry
same
in
fate
there.
as Falcon.
No. Wipeout. Bring back Wipeout, my goat.
Red Square. Red
You know
Square.
Fucking. No.
And I do love the Waiachis. They're my favorite team in the sport, so having more of them around is always a fun. I like them a lot. So that's Son of Waiachi.
For sure. Unfortunately, that was the only vote in Sal's favor.
It's
Yeah, I
really
figured.
funny because I was just about to I was about to ask you like right before Clone started talking about Son of Waiachi if I could replace one of my boss with Son of Waiachi because I forgot about it, and I don't know, it just feels wrong to not have multiple Waiachi bots in.
Yeah.
Because spoiler alert, we cut Fusion.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you want to see our
Spoiler.
explanation, watch the last episode.
Which we will put in a link in the description below.
Ooh,
And also
Ooh.
hit that little bell.
Getting out of order.
hit that like
Yeah,
button.
like
turn
this
on
video.
notifications.
Please give Blaze
Support
more
us on
ad
Patreon.
revenue. Turn off your ad blockers when you're watching him.
What-
Anyway,
I don't get paid for this.
yeah,
Because your mother's made a name.
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, put your
Zasa.
credit card information down below.
Don't forget those 3 funky digits in the back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make sure you spell the name right too. Anyway, Zasa,
Yeah.
on to you.
Yeah, so on the subject of horizontal spinners that we really want to see in BattleBots, Sal is a classic of the olden days, and everyone knows who it is. My pick is also a builder who's been around for a while, but the robot itself is pretty new. I want to talk about Travis fucking T. Let's
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
This has
Yeah.
been one of the
Pure
most
nonsense.
interesting robots to follow for the last couple years here. I still remember when the design of it was first revealed back in 2023, and everybody's response to it was, "What the hell is that thing?"
Yes, I saw a
So-
picture. I'm like,
So
What the
so
fuck
much
is
so that the builder even included that as a joke in his little introduction video at Destructathon when he did the Proving Grounds. And, come out and go like, "What the hell is that?" Uh, and it started off a very dominant career, and not against the strongest robots in the world, but it was scoring sub-minute knockouts for its first few fights. Uh, which was really funny to watch. The entire community rallying around this weird, never seen before robot. That was just such a different design from everything. It's a horizontal on stilts. It's drifting around the arena. It hits like a truck, and it's super weird and janky and fragile looking. And no one's looking at it going like, this is the next world champion. But it's putting up wins. It has its flaws. It lost to Swamp Thing, which is kind of sad.
Mhm.
But it did some good work. It managed to do a lot of damage to Minotaur despite losing that fight, to the point where they could not open it to get the batteries out for a very long time, which I think is really funny that Travis managed to do that. It's an interesting robot. There's nothing else like it. Again, is it going to win the giant nut? I don't think so. But it's a weird robot. It's a unique robot. It's kind of like Huge was when it started out. Nobody's really quite prepared for this thing. And it's going to do some weird janky shit, and that can really kind of shake up the field because people have to be a lot more careful about how they're going to fight it. It's a horizontal that attacks from weird places. It hits really hard. It's got a big weapon on it that goes very fast and can spin up really fast. Don't count this thing out, I think. And it helps that the team is really great too. They just want to be there and fight everybody. They're not going to turn down matches that they get, and that's a valuable thing when you have kind of a wild card slot robot. You can give them the top 4 robots in the world, and they'll shrug and go like, "Yeah, we'll do it." So
What the hell? We're already losing.
So I really want to see Travis get in the next world championship.
I think we all do.
I think the big issue is so spoiler alert. Zaza was the only one that put Travis T. I thought about Travis T for a while, but I ended up not putting it on just because it's like I like Travis T. Like Travis T's awesome. Travis T's the goat, but it just feels more like an alt slot rather than a full competitor.
For sure.
In general, I agree, but
yeah.
because we've
Yeah.
not covered it, because of the fact that we didn't do anything with alts, I wanted to talk about it
Yeah.
anyway. So I was like, you know what?
No,
fuck it,
no,
Like,
I
I'm-
know. I think
putting it on my
I'm
list.
so happy
Tune in for
someone
part
did.
3. Tune in for part 3.
Yeah.
Our 24 alts.
They deserve
Exactly.
they deserve some recognition. So
Absolutely.
I-
All right.
It's so yeah.
All right. For our next bot, I'm going to talk about yet another bot that wasn't in this past season, but I would love for its return.
Ice Wave.
Ah, you're
Ice Wave,
funny.
let's go.
No, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite bots and the second bot that I ever laid eyes on when I was a wee lad and first found out about BattleBots as World Championship 2 was just beginning. Blacksmith. Yeah, like I said,
Jeez.
this was
Oh.
the second bot that I ever saw. Bronco versus Blacksmith is the first fight that I ever saw. I was 12 or 13 years old at the time. So, yeah, Blacksmith. This is always pretty much always a bot that puts on a good show, win or lose. Like you're gonna see that flaming hammer. You're gonna see it wildly flailing about, sometimes to its own demise.
Do they even use the flaming hammer anymore?
They put
so-
on the power saw. It's not a hammer anymore, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's
It's a
called a
hammer, it's a
power
power-
hammer. It's a
it's a
Power hammer. Oh,
Power hammer.
okay,
I thought
my
everyone-
bad.
Then Spin, let me have this. It's still there.
I'm sorry.
Nah, no, don't let him have this. He
Um,
doesn't deserve it.
it had an okay performance in season 6. The regular season. I mean, it went 1-2. Uh, fun fight against free shipping. I had a blast with it, to be honest. And then you had its champions run, and this is where it like really had a fun time. It placed the same way that Deep Six did, but this time Blacksmith kind of sold the bag. Uh, I don't know if everybody would agree when I say that it was pretty much beating Bloodsport until Blacksmith just had to throw the power hammer in right into Bloodsport's spinner, and of course Blacksmith's smaller weapon is the one that kind of got shredded in the process. So that unfortunately managed to swing the judges' cards a lot more heavily in favor of Bloodsport. So,
Yeah.
Is
Alkindle
it
has
really a
uh
blacksmith fight if he isn't just throwing around the hammer willy nilly though? I mean, that's just
right,
something
which
It's
yeah, right,
he's
which
got to
is
do
which
it.
is
Alkindle is the
If you
opposite
ask
of
him why
John
he did
Reed.
that, he'll just shrug and say, "Oh, it felt like it."
no, I felt like it. Yeah, this is what I mean when I say that Blacksmith will put on a good show, win or lose.
It's also
Alkindle
not
a while
infuriating
back
to.
he posted about looking for sponsors, so he has the interest in coming back, and I think this is a bot that BattleBots would be very happy to return because it's been around for a while. It's been in a lot of seasons. It's had tournament seeds before. Even though it was only like the 15 seed, it still made it in 2019, and I think maybe with a different schedule, it could have also made the tournament in 2021.
Yeah,
Um, so
I
yeah,
also had. Sorry, I'm sorry, Silver. But I would like to talk about this robot before we move on.
go ahead, go ahead. You're good.
But yeah, I also have Blacksmith on, and I love Blacksmith. I think it's a bot that
It is a
BattleBots
bot.
is another one of those robots that like BattleBots
I
would
agree.
I think accept it 9 times out of 10 if it applied. It's
Probably.
just that it doesn't always apply. But it is just one of the most fun jobbers at BattleBots
I
because
was just
it
gonna
is
say
just an
it's a jobber.
absolute tank. It won't
Yeah,
quit.
It's
It won't die. And if it dies, it's just gonna die like in the most extravagant way. See the Witch Doctor fight and in like the Minotaur fight and the Bronco fight, it is a very entertaining machine. I love it. And like yeah, I think you also failed to mention the Malice versus Blacksmith fight was one of like the best fights of World Championship 6 and
that
it's
was a
probably the
banger.
reason like Malice got into the play-in spot was just because they put on an amazing show against Blacksmith specifically.
it is a it's a fun robot, and you like you said, this is like the perfect jobber just to have something goofy for like
Yeah.
a robot they want, like another robot they want to market and sell. Just have
This
make it
is
fight Blacksmith. That'll make the other robot look good.
This is like I think every year they have the potential to make bracket. They are good enough to make bracket, but just because of how the robot is, they're only gonna get hard fights. You're never gonna get
Yes.
thrown like a Jaeger. They're never get thrown like overhaul. You're gonna get Tombstone. You're gonna get this really strong vertical spinner because you can take the hits and you can last more than 30 seconds against it.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Unless you get something really stupid they want to do for fun, like I could see it fighting Kraken or something.
Oh, that'd be a fun fight actually. I'd be down. Is that
It
a
did
rematch?
fight
Have they fought before?
That's
It,
why
it,
they
it
got
did
into 2019. They got Kraken.
Yeah,
They
I
weren't
could
allowed
get.
to
I
get
could
him
see
a
a
win.
Kraken. Did
Be
oh
a
yeah, they did
goofy
fight.
rematch. I'd be there for it. All right. So yeah, that's Blacksmith. All right. Back to you, Blaze.
Oh, I wasn't paying. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Blacksmith, let's talk about last, right? Okay.
Yep.
Uh, you know what? Uh, uh, been pick a number between 1 and 2. Pick
Between
1 or 2.
1 and 2.
Pick 1 or 2.
The second number was 2. I'll pick 1.
Okay, so I'll talk about P1 here. P1 in
Yay!
so P1 so Brandon, what was his name's Zelensky, right?
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. Brandon Zelensky, he went into World Championship 7 with a new robot, right? with Star Child, who unfortunately didn't really do that well. Like they were fun to watch, but th- there's just like better robots that what's fit like a jobber, I guess is the best term. There's just better robots that fit it. But
Can you
Brandon
explain
Zelinsky
what a
is
jobber is? We've been saying
jobber is
jobber a
basically
lot.
jobber, from what I understand, is basically just a bot that like gets fed some of the like stronger robots and
It's
puts
just
on like a decent little bit of a show, which Star Child did do. Star Child was pretty entertaining. It just was not very good.
you're right. A
And
jobber is just a robot that was made. Its purpose is to lose to another robot to make that robot look good.
yeah, yeah. So then, uh, but Brandon Zelinsky is still a fantastic driver. He's still really good, and I would hate for him to just not show up at all. Not that he's not going to show up, but for him to just not bring like a his own robot, because he's still part of Team Omega. He'll still show up and help like Ripperoni and stuff. He just won't drive. And then P1 is I understand that. I understand like the reasons that they didn't bring P1 back. In fact, I'm pretty sure they did bring P1. They just didn't fight with it.
Yeah, it
I think it
was
was
sort of lynched in
yeah, yeah,
fashion.
it was
It
like
almost got an exhibition with Shatter, if I recall correctly.
Oh, that would have been
oh,
sick.
okay. That would have been awesome. Um, but then I was gonna say something. Man, I love when I lose my train of thought. But
Lose a whole ass
like
train.
yeah, I have my brain's just a train, bro. Um, but I I like P1 honestly. Like it's not my favorite robot in the world, but
I like it.
it's also unique considering that it's the only front hinge lifter BattleBots has had in at least the reboot, to my knowledge. I could be forgetting about shit fuck robot number 35 from classic era, but
Can't believe you
but
erase Strange Brew like this.
sorry, sorry, shit fuck by
Fade
Well,
middle
34.
16 is
Strange
right
Brew.
there. I'm just saying.
But anyways, uh,
I also voted for
a-
P1.
P1's just awesome, and I would have loved to have. I would just love to have Brandon Zelensky just drive a bot that's like not insanely difficult to maneuver, because P1 was pretty maneuverable. It is maneuverable. It's just four-wheel drive compared to fucking Star Child, who's
Yeah.
Star Child drive. I don't really have
Uh,
anything else to say
Uh,
about P1.
I almost had P1. I'm like I'm like the first draft of my list and a couple other drafts of like what bots I would throw back in. I did have P1 because I know they had this smaller weight class sort of version of P1 or it looked a lot like P1 called Mulsane, which is
mhm.
just a hammer saw version of P1. And I know the team said they didn't want to slap a vert on it, but I think if they were to make P1 but with a spinner, I think Mulsane is probably the best way to go about it because it still can function as a front hinge lifter,
Mhm.
but now it has the capability of doing damage and could go further than the round of 16 because of that addition. I think that's the reason why they said we should move on to other things because maybe it peaked after WC6 because like who knows if it could have gone further or if it would have just stalled out there.
Yeah, it's P1. Like I felt like they try like with what happened with Star Child. It wasn't even on my radar of P1, but now that you're mentioning, like, yeah, P1 might in this hypothetical do whatever we want and get away with it world where money and licenses on nation could come back.
I can't
Yeah, I
believe
do
Atox
miss my
is an
boy.
issue.
Come on, Money Talks. What are you doing?
Bro is the reason that P1 hasn't returned.
True.
Yeah. Is it me? Is it my turn? Do I get to talk about my boy?
Yes, you
Yeah.
do, Spin.
Yes, you
Okay.
did.
Oh man, this is one of my favorite bots of recent years, and it has like 30 different names. I'm talking about Abrasion, or if you're British, Immersion, or if you like
Oh
fire,
yeah,
Ember, or if you like the purple one that got sold off, Leviathan, or if you like forks and no weapon, Momentum, or if you like smaller weight classes, Amnesia or Euphoria. I love this bot. I love this team. This one is a little bit of copium because this is just sort of another British entry, a predominantly non-spinner one. Um, but in my opinion, if we're not going to get P1 back, if Bren Zelensky's out, I would love to have another front hinge flipper. And this is just the most competitive front hinge lifter left in the heavyweight scene. With the retirement of Sewer Snake and yeah. But yeah,
yeah.
they're like I love having this sort of like in theory tanky hasn't really been tested, but like this tanky wedge that is so well driven, so low, it can actually flip things for one. And
Yes.
it is more than just a lifter. It is just it does like to toss, This robot got accepted for World Championship 5, but COVID happened. It almost entered World Championship 6 as an alt, and then visas all got denied for like British teams. And then for World Championship 7, it just got flat out denied. Team Immersion and Adam Hamilton all have their connections with other teams. If I recall correctly, Magnitude started out as a commission for them to design because that's just what their
I think
company
so.
does. And they helped design Big Dill as well. They helped design Dystopia and Ripper, and they design a bunch of like smaller weight class versions of other robots. And that's just what they are known for. Teams go to them to help design robots for them or like scale things down. And it's just, I think they deserve a shot just for how much they've been doing for robot combat over the UK and just in general. And like even if you're worried about, oh, they're just gonna be a wedge, well, they tried to address that. They're saying, hey, let's just put a spinner on it. Let's be a flipper saw or like a hammer saw. And yeah, they tested out with Amnesia, and if I recall correctly, it did sort of decently. We don't talk about the other hammer saw, Bonfire and Vulture. But I would love to see Abrasion. They're my international pick.
I forgot about
It would be
Bonfire.
cool to see like a team from India or Russia or China or like a country we haven't seen before, haven't seen a lot of, but I just really want to see Abrasion, man.
Yes. Immersion. When I was like, okay, I need a better like representation of the UK because we like another representation of like what the UK fighting scene is like, and Immersion was one of my top two picks. The other one is the one I went with, but this is a very good robot, and it's been putting up a lot of results in the more recent Mechamania series. A very, very good robot, and maybe they'll come up with a new silly name for it in BattleBots.
It would be Abrasion. Abrasion is just the
Yeah,
BattleBots name.
Abrasion.
Technically, Abrasion has never fought. It's Immersion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abrasion is what they would have entered for BattleBots, but that's the only way it exists.
It did.
Yeah.
They did enter for
Alright.
BattleBots.
It's a very good robot, and it's like the next gen P1 type front
For
hinge
sure.
lifter. Very good
It-
robot.
It would have been the next
Fire.
Firestorm if Robot Wars Series 11 happened.
Yeah.
If Robot Wars was real, Robot Wars isn't
Yeah.
real. I haven't seen anything outside
Hey,
of
it's
like
been
two
another.
stories.
It's almost been another 12 years. Maybe we'll get it back in 2027.
Jeez.
All right. So, Spin, you had the only vote in Immersion's favor, but you never know what could happen.
Gee,
Uh,
I wonder
it's Abrasion.
why.
So, all right, Clone, back to you.
Okay, so I was just talking about this. I had two picks. I wanted another highly competitive, highly like known and respected British robot that's been around the British scene for a very long time. I'm like Immersion, and then I thought like, okay, Immersion's really good, but there's one robot in particular that just defined the British robot combat scene for the last, almost 15 years. That's Eruption. This is the most like, if you look at the results, this is the only heavyweight that's known to have more than 100 wins to its name.
Jeez.
Yes, it has over 100 wins to its name. It's a very I mean, it's a little outdated as it's just a Brit flipper, but I feel like it could get a lot better. There's plenty of room to stick some forks on it, and Michael Oates is a really, really good driver. Like a really good driver. He is insanely good. Like I don't know what demon he sold his soul to, but when he gets behind the controls of Eruption, that kid, he's a demon. He's really
very
good at
nice.
driving, and I think another robot to represent UK, and just we know UK is all Brit flippers. Like the robot to represent the embodiment of UK live triangle CO2 powered flipper. It's got to be Eruption, and this is a robot I have a lot of respect for. I mean, I know it would probably go like 2 and 2
Make one
maybe.
of those.
Yeah.
You bring up Eruption, but I think the more realistic Team Eruption bot they'd send in is Ignition, who was
Yes, it
made
would be
to fight spinners
Ignition.
at least because
Yes.
it has armor compared to
Yep.
Eruption.
Oh yeah,
And they
Eruption's
did
just like
enter
a
into
few.
Games of the
It's like a
Future.
few sheets of Hardox. It can take like maybe 2 hits and then just die.
Yes. If they fight
That's
a
being
spinner, it's
generous.
just gonna be hopes and prayers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would just be fun. Like like when I went into this, it's good to have that kind of representation across all of BattleBots, to the entire sport, to have robots like Eruption in BattleBots. So that's why I
Yeah.
picked Eruption as my like
Yeah.
extra UK robot.
Fair.
It's an interesting pick.
Plays.
For our listeners,
Oh,
Blaze just posted an image of Eruption with 2 red lines just protruding from the front of it to look like forks.
Yeah, and for
Uh,
post production, they'll probably put a picture of it on the screen, but that's really good. And that's what it would
No.
look like. Yeah.
No. They would bring back the Series 9 version of Eruption with a vertical spinner on it. Come on, guys. what are
Oh
you
my god,
doing?
no.
Wait 1 second.
At that point, is it even Eruption? It's just Eruption ship of Theseus.
Wait, no, you can
How
guys,
many
guys, let me
things can
cook.
we add to Eruption before it's just not Eruption anymore?
Guys, let me cook. Let me cook.
All right. All right. So that's Eruption.
That's Eruption.
So,
Yeah.
Zasa, over to you.
Let's see here. Oh, I have a good one we haven't talked about yet, since we're talking about international robots. One that I think people will actually want to see on BattleBots. It's been when we're talking about Eruption and its long history in the sport, compared to that, this is a very, very new robot that's kind of stormed onto the international scene
Mhm.
and been extremely successful in the last couple of years. And I want to talk about Daddy from Bitva Robotov. Now,
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes,
they're,
Daddy, yes!
they're a very, very cool robot. This massive egg beater weapon, very fast, very maneuverable, very chaotic, constantly throwing things around the arena, throwing itself around the arena a lot of the time. It's extremely destructive. It has a lot of memorable matches. It's such a good robot, such an interesting robot to watch.
How do
You
I
know,
rip
and
off the Band-Aid, guys?
Oh, I
it's
love
so
Daddy.
so
Such
fun
a
to
good
watch.
robot.
And
Yeah.
that I think that as far as internationals go, Daddy is definitely up there as one of those robots that, like, at some point you gotta get it over here. It's
Yes,
so
please.
much fun. It's so good.
Oh, and the
You know,
team
if
is
I
very like communicative, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they really do want to come over to BattleBots, if I recall
Mm.
correctly.
Yeah, it's just
their captain is one of the most active people from their scene in, like, online communities and such. He's been a really good source of information on different things about some of the teams competing over there, some of the structure, their competition. He's very supportive
Correct
when
me
it comes to spreading kind of the international community and making them, bigger, more welcoming. He's a really lovely guy. And
correct me if I'm
he's
wrong.
very
He's
wholesome. Like, you hear the name Daddy, and I think a lot of people immediately jump to jokes about it. But it is legitimately from his young daughter seeing it, and he's like, "Oh, what do we call the robot?" And she's like, "Daddy, because it's like you." and I want it to win,
Aw.
and that's a really cute story.
That is that's the kind of story I
that-
think BattleBots would take and run wild with, as
yeah.
because they tend to do that with little origin stories like that. And
Yeah.
like you
Mhm,
said, this is
mhm.
such a good robot, and
Yeah,
I really want
and
to
it's one of those things like
include it.
the Russian scene has really exploded in the last couple of
Oh,
years and had
absolutely.
amazing
Yeah.
robots.
Like the last
I've been
I feel
following
you
bad
know,
about politics. You
and we have
know.
yes,
Yeah.
we haven't had a Russian rep since Rainbow, and right now it's kind of difficult. I'm not gonna really touch that because that's not in the scope of our podcast. But right now it's difficult. But like at some point in the future, assuming BattleBots continues long enough anyway, we'll see what this upcoming announcement thing is supposed to be. At some point in the future, there we'd want to start getting more of them in once it's viable to do so. And I think Daddy is like the number one Russian robot to bring in. It's
Absolutely.
so good and so entertaining.
Oh, God, I love
It is
I love this
the
robot.
number one Russian robot. I can't think of any other
Oh,
like
without
when
a
I think
doubt,
of
yeah.
Yeah,
when
it's
I
the
think of Bits for
best.
Robotop, I think of like 4 robots, and Daddy's the only Russian one that I think of.
What
I think of
about
like 5 or 6,
Honey
but
Badger?
Honey Badger's ass.
No, but
Okay,
they
so
beat Daddy. Come on.
That JD was stupid from what I've heard. I haven't seen the fight.
Okay.
There was a
You
lot
can't
about
talk if you just
Badger
call
that
it
was a bit
stupid.
off,
You
but
can't see it. Haven't seen it, man. What are we
I
doing
have
here?
I've seen
okay,
I'll,
I want to say my
I'll watch
piece. I want to
the
say
fight
my
right.
piece.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
Clone.
go for it.
Okay. I've been following the Russian scene since like I first discovered BattleBots. I'm like, wait, they have combat stuff in Russia? That sounds cool. And from humble beginnings is an understatement. Like 2015, 2016, Bitva, Robotov, and the other one was called BroneBots, and there was like a live circuit I forget the name of. The robots sucked ass. They were like janky, rusty steel triangles, and watching it just explode into arguably some of the most optimized robots I've ever seen in my life is such a blessing. They're like speed running robot combat history, going from like wedges to flippers, and now it's like forks and verticals, and it's they're so cool. And I really want more Russians to compete at BattleBots, but of course they can't really. But
Mhm.
it's
Get in the comments. Talk about Russia.
I want
No,
that
no,
as a
no,
person with
no.
a person with Slavic origins. It'd be fun to have more Russians in BattleBots, but I love this. I love Daddy. I love all these. The Russian robots are really. I could probably talk for hours about the Russian combat scene.
Okay,
I love
just to be
Bitva.
clear, please do not talk about Russia in the comments. I do not
Let's
want to hear
boost
about Russia,
engagement,
bro.
Blaze. Boost
I
engagement.
get
Go
the
to
boost
comments.
engagement, but like, god damn, I do not want to
And then
talk
it gets
about.
age restricted.
I don't want. I don't want to
You get
deal
taken
with.
out by a U.S. sniper.
Probably on someone's watch list already.
Oh boy.
I am.
All
I
right.
linked to so many
On that
Middle
note.
Eastern and Russian
Okay,
robots.
anyways,
No,
Let's move
on
on.
that
Let's move
note.
on.
On that note.
Silver, go. Just go.
Okay, so all of my bots have been talked about now, so I'm passing it on to Blaze.
All right. Oh yeah, it's my turn. So I only have one bot left, and it's a bot that I'm actually surprised hasn't been talked about yet. And it's Yeti. Yeti's the goat. I love
Oh,
Yeti.
Yeti.
I
Yeah.
understand that Greg Gibson is like retired. He lives in California, right?
Yeah. He
Like
just
I-
wants
he
to
retired.
fish.
Yeah, he just wants to fish, which I respect. Like I respect his decision to retire Yeti. However, this is like fantasy, and I want I want to see Yeti again. I want to give Yeti fights like I want to put Yeti up against like Minotaur, and like Black Dragon and like boss like that. Just like fights that I like Yeti. I think Yeti is cool. Yeti was my favorite bot back in like 2019. Uh, and it's just like Yeti's also just straight up like if Greg Gibson did decide that he wants to come back, BattleBots would 100% accept Yeti because it's Yeti. It- like what else is there to say about Yeti? It's awesome. It's the goat. I love drum spinners.
Yes. Yeti was a robot I was gonna pick. It was on my original list, and then I cut it out for like stuff. I think I cut it out for either Magnitude or Orbitron, and I'm like, yeah, I love Yeti. My dad loves Yeti. my whole family who watches BattleBots loves this robot. It's a very, very fun robot to enjoy. But on the other side, it is retired, and yeah, I do want it back though. Maybe, hopefully.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Spin, on to you.
I
Never
can't
mind.
believe
Spin is
Sting
muted.
just muted.
He's muted. Spin is.
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here. Someone was
he's
knocking.
here.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Lit.
For me, I think this is my last one.
Yes, it is.
This is like my final slot was one was like I shifted it, I think once or twice. I have Slammo here. Can't talk about face-offs, but I can talk about the rest of their Proving Grounds fights. You know, everyone loves Craig Danby. He's just the opposite of Ethan Kurtz because the robots aren't that good, but everyone loves him and loves what he does. I just, I love seeing lifters. I love seeing non-spinners. And I think Craig Danby finally sticking with a robot design and just making it better as opposed to saying, this didn't do well. Time to make a new robot. He's not doing it this time. And I love that. I think the new Slammo is very fun. It's fast, it's nimble, and it actually uses this lifter quite well. And can't talk about face-offs, but I can talk about how I think, in my opinion, they are sort of like the poster child for we just kept showing up to Proving Grounds and improving and getting better. If I had to pick a robot to represent that sort of idea, and I think a robot that really embodies that, it would be Slammo. Just because, it's a robot that really did need to like just click it all together and just be the bot it could have always been, but just hasn't like really dedicated time to be. And like you could bring up someone like Doom, who just barely works, honestly. I hate to disparage Doom, but like, in terms of like showing up and like getting results, I think Slammo is just the face of that.
Such a fun robot, but
I know.
yeah, it's just such a fun robot. I do like Craig Danby always showing up. It's like, hey, he's back. That's fun.
Yeah. I love
Very
the
biased in
FRC
favor of
representation.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's
Zaza, weren't you
Slammo,
like?
and there were 2 people in favor of Slammo. So, all right, Clone,
Yay!
you got 3 bots left. Zaza has 1 bot left, and that'll be
Yep,
it.
here we go. This
Oh,
is my
don't I have
descent
2?
into the mountain of madness.
You have 1, Zaza.
Okay.
Did I miss somebody getting talked about? I don't think either of my last 2 have been talked about.
Hey, let me look at your
Well,
list.
We'll find out in a bit.
We'll
so
find
this
out
is-
next time on Dragon Ball
These last
Z.
3 are you've slowly seen me descend into madness with my picks. We went from Iron Scrap to Eruption. We're just slowly devolving. This is my Russian pick because when I first came up with this, when Silver approached me, they needed a 5th member for this podcast. I misread this, and I thought it was World Championship 7 and not World Championship 8. So I thought this was a remake of World Championship 7. So I was gonna engineer it for this list. But now that I tinkered and fixed it over and over, but this is the robot I kept as my Russian pick, and I feel like the most realistic because these guys speak really good English and they have the funds to travel all over the place, and that's Weber. Wow, Clone picked a flipper. Wow. I like flippers. I like the Russian combat scene, so this was like a perfect blend of both. And it's one of the more well-known robots in Russia that even like casual fans will remember. Oh yeah, Weber from Series 10. It's yeah, the grill, the Weber grill. Zasa sent me a picture. Put a picture of the Weber grill, but this is a cool robot. I like the flipper, and they've been getting better and better. And it's not just it's not so much a Brit flipper clone anymore. It's kind of more like angular
Clone?
and sloped. It's hi.
Hi.
Did you say my name?
All right. You said clone. I said clone.
What?
Clone.
I'm
Clone.
Okay.
what the fuck
Okay.
is that?
I don't know. This
I
is
have no
it's
idea what
Weber,
you said.
my Russian pick. But if I had this known way ahead in advance that this was World Championship and not World Championship 7, I would have picked like Dad. I would have definitely picked Daddy. But Weber, I think, is a better realistic choice because they do speak really. These guys speak really good English, and they have the funds because they travel to many different countries to compete. And it's another role that just kind of all encompasses the history of the Russian scene because they've been there for a really long time. and they've been constantly getting better.
Since like 2015, 2016, right? They've been
2016.
around since like the explosion of the sport in
The scene started in
mid-2010s.
late 2015, and then they showed up in 2016, and then after Robot Wars series like 9 or 10, it blew up, and they've been competing ever since. They have multiple robots, if I remember, but Weber is like their main one, and they're very dedicated to this flipper, and I respect them for that. Flippers are cool.
And they went to This Is Fighting Robots. Don't forget.
Yes, they
They
did.
beat
Did they?
Cat King / Warhawk, or was it Mad Cat, or I forget which one it was.
It's all the same.
They're all
It's
vertical
yeah.
spinners to me.
It
I'm
would
racist.
be.
Well, it was running its lifter config in that fight, so take that, pussy.
What what was Weber? Did Weber just compete under Weber, or was it a different name?
It was
It's,
just Weber.
It was Weber,
It was
but
just Weber.
there was a translation. I think they
It's
called it
never
Space
gone by
Station.
another name, to my knowledge.
Okay.
It's just too iconic. It just has to be Weber.
It has to be Weber, and maybe for BattleBots they'll just put an extra B and call it Weber with 2 B's. But
Yeah.
this is a very fun robot, and I do like these guys a lot. And it's whenever I see them fight, I'm always rooting for them, even though if I know deep down in my heart they're gonna lose. And this was I wanted more Russians, but you can only have a few. Like, yeah, you can only have a few
Well, no,
foreigners, but yeah,
I'm gonna let you talk about
You-
your other 2 picks also, since you're the one that has like
Okay.
the most left.
I do have a lot of crap. So that was these last 2 are definitely madness. This one's not the maddest one, but this is just literally the most like selfish pick I could. This is my favorite robot of all time. This is Sewer Snake. This is my all-time
My
number
goat.
1 favorite robot of all time. Yeah, I love this robot. I love Matt Maxim. I find him a very charming, goofy guy, and this robot is just so damn cool. I love how energetic it is. I like all the different configs. It's just a fun robot to root for. And when I knew, I'm like, this thing's not gonna do great. It's gonna go like 1-3 or 2-2, but I want it back. I want Matt Maxim back. He's been around for a very long time, and he's so passionate and friendly about this sport. It's such an upbeat vibe, and it's a fun robot. It has a lot of history, and it has 98 wins to its credit, which is the most successful American robot of all time. Just get it 2 more. I want it to reach the triple digits. Just get those 2 more wins, Matt.
Dang, that's crazy.
So that was my big dumb selfish, like, I know I want this robot back. I love this robot.
I miss
Okay,
Matt Maxim so much.
I have a just random ass question.
Sure.
Would they be competing under Sewer Snake, or would they be Singer, but this time it's actually Sewer Snake?
In my ideal world, it would just be Sewer Snake, and then it'd just be 250 pounds. They'd put like more upgrades into it, but realistically, they probably would just take Sewer Snake, paint it yellow, and call it Stinger again.
Yeah. I would also prefer Sewer Snake, to be honest. It's just like it is just like the power of the name and the fact that it is a different build from Stinger, because Stinger was so mid.
Yeah, no,
and then
no,
Sewer Snake is
that's
just
what I
the peak
no,
of robot.
that's what I was I was asking for it to be like the build of Sewer Snake. I was just asking.
It
if
would
it
literally
be
just be upgrade. It would just be
Stinger.
he takes Sewer Snake because he still has the robot, upgrade it, repair it, upgrade it, and just maybe paint it yellow if you had to, or just keep it the red and put it in BattleBots.
Yeah, no, that's what
Jam
I
your
was,
thumb down on that throttle and go nuts, Matt.
that's what I was just asking if it was gonna, if it would have hypothetically
30 pounds
competed.
for the axe config.
Just the action thing. No, I was just wondering if it would be like I was just asking if it would compete under the name Sewer Sneak. Sewer Sneak? Yes.
Yeah.
Sewer Sneak.
In my
Yep.
perfect world, it would be.
Sewer Sneak, my favorite robot.
All right, clone,
Yes.
one more.
Okay, does Zasa want to do it, or should I just? Does
I
Zasa want to
just-
share one, or should I blow up the dumbest robot I've ever come
You
up?
should blow up.
Oh my
You
gosh!
should
Okay.
blow up.
You should
I
explode.
when I was making the list, I looked through Silver's notes and he said, "Get some spicy ones," and I'm like, there's got to be something stupid. I have to find something really, and it clicked with me. I'm like, oh my god, I know what I need to put in. It doesn't make any sense. It would never show up again. But no, I am putting this robot in. Motherfucking Cluster Flock. people don't know who this robot is. I'm sure 95% of people don't know who this robot is. This robot, when RoboGames 2018 happened, one person dropped out. The bracket was already set up, and the guys were like, "Oh shit, we literally cannot run this tournament without a 18th robot in the bracket. It just will not work." And they were scrambling, and then what happened is the most magical thing ever. Like 30 people all got together with their leftover robots built, maybe I think some were built out of like spare parts lying around, to compile this ultimate conglomerate of garbage that just managed to weigh up to 220 pounds. And it's just a blob of nothing. It's like 30 different robots ranging from like featherweights down to ant weights. There's even stuff that's not supposed to be in combat. Like there's a robot designed for sumo and it looks like a actual robot android. There's a hockey robot. There's a soccer robot. There's a robot with like a paintbrush. It's just a bunch of crap, and it's so funny. It was the dumbest shit ever, and it would be hilarious to have this back and have like 30 to 40 people all huddled around the arena with random shit in BattleBots. Any fight, any person, doesn't matter who fought it, it would be hilarious. It could be any other robot fighting it. And it would be the funniest shit ever. You would never forget it. That's my thoughts on
all-star team of like the best drivers at BattleBots and just have them all take on like a ant weight or a beetle weight or a middle weight or just whatever small weight class they have, bring it over and just let it fight like I don't know, like Doomba or Star Child or sort of huge. Just get someone and just let the all-star team try their best.
It would be, and one of the best things they ever did was they had like a 60, the heaviest one in the blob was like 60 or 50 pounds. They had a lifter that didn't work properly, so he inverted the lifter into a catapult. They put an ant weight on the catapult lifter, and he chucks an ant weight at another robot.
Incredible.
It's just the best. It's so stupid. It's just if anything, this is just me getting a soapbox to tell people of the magic that is Cluster Flock. And if it would, this is fantasy. I can say whatever I want. Bring it back. Just get something this dumb back in BattleBots. Just for the giggles. No one would hate it. Everyone would be like, that is the funny. They would laugh. Some people would probably cringe, but it'd be fun. And BattleBots needs to have fun.
Alright. That's the rest of Clones Fix. Alright, there's one more bot left to talk about. Zasa, take it away.
Yeah, this is a robot that I like it, you know. My opinion on it has definitely dropped over the course of its career, but it's an interesting robot and I like it. So it kind of ended up here by default. Roundhouse.
Ooh.
It's a very beautiful robot.
Ooh.
It started off its career pretty strong. Kind of had a nosedive with face-offs there, but I still think it is worth talking about. I think that we haven't seen the full potential of this robot yet. I'm hoping that because they talked about doing a bit of a redesign to fix some of the flaws they found during their face-offs outing. I'm hoping that they're going to be at whatever this upcoming event is supposed to be, and we can see them kind of work out the kinks and get the robot really, really revving up. I think they could do better than they've done so far. We'll see.
Alright. Well,
Alright.
Roundhouse only had the one vote from Zasa. So, here's the thing.
Oh boy.
We have a 4-bot tie for the last 3 slots.
Oh jeez.
Okay.
So
What are all the what are
the ones that are absolutely confirmed in are our unanimous picks, which are Manta, Magnitude, Orbitron, Tombstone. We had
Mhm.
Teratops, which was a 4-1 vote in favor, and then Calypso and Deep Sea Shark had a 3-2 vote. So
phase?
the next ones, had 2 people in favor of them, 3 did not have them in their rosters, and they are Deep Six, Blacksmith, P1, and Slammo. So
Can I
one of these
Ooh.
bots
fight for
cannot make it.
one of these bots
Ooh.
can't make it? I want to.
Correct.
If we
Get-
allowed
get
hijinxing, can we get Daddy
P1
in?
handed.
Well, but then there's international issues. Yeah. Not,
No,
not
no.
issues. Not issues. We have limited. We limited it to
Yeah.
10 international.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Yeah. This
Yeah.
international
No.
limited. Like I don't
And
know.
also
Give
then
more
we
money
would
to
have to
battle
drop 2
bots.
What?
So we just have to decide which one are we gonna drop out of these.
So between
My
P1,
vote
Slam,
P1.
I think P1
Nah,
does
I
make
think
the most
P1's
sense
gotta
out of
go.
these.
man.
I agree with P1.
Out of wait, who?
Yeah.
P1,
Um,
Slammo, and what are the
Deep
other two?
Six and Blacksmith.
I guess. I mean, I would honestly prefer to see Blacksmith
Can I
go. I'm not
convince
the
y'all to
biggest fan of
keep
Blacksmith.
Clusterflock?
Oh,
if
Even
I
Yeah,
had
it's
to pick one to go, I would. I honestly, here's the thing. I would honestly pick Deep Six. But like, it
Silence.
does feel like
yeah, I mean,
the tree is
from
leading
a
P1.
from a realism perspective, Deep Six is definitely the one to go. But like, nothing about this is realistic. So
Yeah.
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 I think
I know,
P1
I
has a
think-
majority anyway.
I think P1 to me is a more dynamic competitor. I think because like it's like Deep Six is spectacle. When it really does what it's supposed to do, it is one of the most entertaining and like entertaining things, and like it fills you with awe. It returns you to a moment where you thought you were a child, and the world is a magical place,
you
and
thought you were a
anything is possible. I could drive to the moon if I wanted to. However, I think just like P1, if you put it against any opponent, I think it's gonna put up at least a really decent fight. And I can't really say the same for Deep Six, because like I think like there's just like it's either gonna get the hits or it's gonna die without doing much.
Right.
But for like I think I got outvoted. I think I'm just gonna let P1 slide.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Alright.
P1. We like
So-
you, but you're just
You're not
Gotta
good
go.
enough.
no. They're
But-
better
no.
than
You
Deep
suck,
Six. It's
Brandon
just Deep Six
Zelensky.
They're
is
better
more-
than Deep Six.
Retire.
They're the honestly they're the best spot in there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they are. Why?
They
why
are,
do we
but-
do this? Why do we get rid of like the
They've
best
had their
spot
time in this.
there?
They've had, like Zaza said, they've had their time in the sun, and like
Alright.
they were retired. So realistically, I think P1 taking safety out of the picture, because this is fantasy. We can say whatever we want.
Yeah.
P1 is the next
Well,
one to
gang.
go. You ignore this.
I also just
Okay,
find it
I gotta.
the least interesting of the 4 to watch. Personally,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's a neat robot. I don't mind it being there. Just if I've got to cut one of those 4, it's the one that I'm the most okay with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, gang. Well, I appreciate
Okay.
y'all for humoring me and going along this journey of making.
Oh, this was a ton of
roster.
fun. This was a ton of
Do you
fun.
wanna
Before
do you want to
before you
recap
go-
what our robots are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So here is our World Championship 8 potential roster. So,
Take your time, Silver. I believe in you. You know how to read.
I know
got
you
this.
do.
I
Okay,
don't
so-
believe that.
Ooh, didn't actually list like what bots were discussed to be cut, but didn't wind up getting cut. Frick. Okay, so our unanimously returning bots are voice crack. That was lovely, and that's staying in. Our returning bots are Sawblaze, Huge, Copperhead, Ribot, Minotaur, Witch Doctor, Riptide, Hydra, Black Dragon, Endgame, Hypershock, Lockjaw, Madcatter, Malice, Monsoon, Whiplash, Beta, Blip, Bloodsport, Claw Viper, Cobalt, Deathroll, Jackpot, Lucky, Quantum, Ripperoni, Rotator, Shatter, Scorpio, Switchback, Banshee, Free Shipping, Gigabyte, Mammoth, Valkyrie. And then I gotta look through.
That was a lot of words all at once, and they all went in one
I
ear.
was just gonna say, why don't we just, I don't know, why didn't you just say, oh, here, I just wanted to know the last, our returning, we can figure
Yeah.
out the bots.
We can
we can figure
sure.
stuff out.
Remember,
I
CB was
list all
cut.
those for nothing. Okay. Well, the cut bots were Horizon, Ominous, Overhaul, Starchild, Gruff, Shredderator, Emulsifier, Triton, Glitch, and Fusion. The bots replacing them are Manta, Magnitude, Orbitron, Tombstone, Terratops, Calypso, Deep Sea Shark, Deep Six, Blacksmith, and Slimo.
I'm so happy to see Deep Sea Shark here. Actually, that's a
Yeah,
good.
me
That's
too.
a fire pick.
Can we get?
Probably
We gotta
good.
do DC Shark versus Deep Six. Trust me, bro. They both have
That's
deep in
gonna
me.
be
Clearly,
banger
there's a
fight.
connection.
All right.
The deepest
Well,
fight of all time.
well, listeners, I
True.
appreciate you for making it this far in our ramblings of bots that we'd like to see in something that may never exist. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe and turn on notifications, and make sure to leave a comment as to why P1 was robbed in our decision.
You can
And
swap.
check out my channel for RR2 content.
Check out my channel for a
No free ad.
documentary that's still in the works.
No
And
free
another documentary
advertising.
about World War One.
All the
No
free
free
Check out my
advertising.
channel for cooking tutorials on how to make the perfect loaded nachos.
Word.
So do you
Wait,
have a
I'd watch
channel?
that.
No, I don't. Don't try to find it.
Well, now you need to make one and make a video about making loaded nachos because I would watch that. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Bro thinks he's Truman from the Truman
Big
Show.
classics, San Diego.
Bro thinks he's the main character.
I am the main character.
You wish you were the main
You're
character.
the default
I am.
character.
I'm
The
literally
default
me,
character.
bro.
You're the character that we